How's everybody doing? We're back again with another review. We're now at, what is it? Big Brother Canada, season 10, episode 11. This was crazy. Last we left off, we had Jess and Kyle on the block, put there by Gino. I don't know. I don't know how this move is going to work out for Gino. It seems like it's going well just from the way people are talking to him, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure because they haven't developed enough animosity towards each other yet where they can use anything to go after each other. They'll still have that sort of situation where they could still say, Gino, no hard feelings, but I don't have anything against anybody else, so I'm just going to put you up. They can still do that. And they can also say he's a threat just based on the fact that he was HOH and all that. So I don't know. I don't know how good of a move it is, but he did what he had to do. And we'll see how it works out for him. But on to this week. I mean, Kyle, just the thing is, he's very composed, almost like he's learned the actions of being a social and very empathetic person, but he's not really that person. And it comes through the way he talks and the way he reacts to situations where he sort of breaks down and then sort of rebuilds himself by talking to himself. He doesn't talk to other people and then take in what they say. He talks himself into something and then he goes out and try to portray that out onto other people. And he says a lot. I hear what you're saying. I understand why you feel that way. He just says those words. And then his next sentence is completely disregarding the first things that he said. And I gotta say, I think at the beginning, when they show his character and the things that he does, he talks about how he talks to people about psychology and mental issues and all this stuff, and he definitely has some issues. He definitely has some mental issues. I don't know what it is, but he's very socially awkward, and I think he's learned to mimic a sort of a mature and understanding person, and it's weird. It's hard to be overly critical of him because you can see he's struggling with certain issues, and it doesn't help him in this game. So maybe just from actually watching this back, he can learn from it and grow from it. So hopefully that happens. But anyways, back to the game. Everyone is excited that he's up on the block. Summer feels very pleased with herself because she thinks she did something. And even there were even people giving Summer props for this, and I just don't understand. Summer's very obnoxious. And I think she's able to get away with it, but if it was someone else, if her personality was on Kyle, people would hate Kyle more than they do now. But she's able to get away with that sort of, it's too much. I don't know. I don't like it. I'm not sure. So yeah, Gino's working the game the best he can, and I think this position forced him to talk to a lot more people than he did before, because before he was just laying low and barely having conversations. And yeah, I think a lot of people were able to see where he stands, and it's sort of improved his game. I think it showed up a lot of his weaknesses, but he still got that showman's thing going. He still got that showman's thing going, and it's not like Jess and Kevin where people are just going to use them as pawns. If him or JC Lynn ever get on the block, they're gone. Like they're literally gone. because people would always think it's better to have one of them than to have both of them in the game. So I'm not sure how far they're going to get unless they're actually winning stuff and they're keeping themselves safe through that. But even if they're winning, they're just going to make themselves a bigger threat. And I think the first person to try to take a shot of them would be Herman. Herman will definitely be one of the first ones to take a shot. Because although he seems very composed and controlled and very business minded in the way that he plays the game, he's got a taste of that emotional satisfaction from just going after Kyle. That I think he's going to play a more emotional game now than he did before. So we'll see how that develops. And then this awkward chemistry between, just show you those two, Jess and Kevin. There's just this awkward chemistry between them where they're trying to make it seem like they're not working together, but I think they're mostly doing that because they're just awkward together. Kevin is an awkward individual. He doesn't know how to talk to people like in a serious manner. He doesn't know how to have a serious conversations with people. That's why he sort of used this humor thing as a crutch, because if you just have a straight conversation with him, just having his ideas and just talk to him, you'll realize he's not really all there. He sort of gives slight impressions of a functional person, but if you dig really deep, you'll see he's very off in the way he reacts and the way he deals with situations, the way he speaks. It's very off. He's not very social. And Jess is more of I don't know, how do you put it? Jess is more of a person that if you just let Jess talk, everything is fine. Just let Jess talk and you'll have the best relationship. But the moment you start to challenge Jess in any way, just breaks down and starts playing the victim. And yeah, it's not a good combination of just two socially inept people. And they've used this crutch of, we don't want to seem like we're working together, but when they really have to sit down and have conversations, it's like it's so unnatural and weird and cringy. Yeah, I don't know. And Kyle's still trying to be mature, still trying to keep everything together and trying to have conversations with people and try to turn things around. But all the relationships that he failed to build in the first place and the ones that he had, he completely destroyed them. There's no place to stand. He's on a sinking ship. What is he going to do? How's he even going to turn anything around? Because even the people that he would be able to convince, they wouldn't go against the people that he would not be able to convince, the people that have something against him. They wouldn't go against them just for him, because they would be just giving out their game for very little benefit of him to themselves. So yeah, I don't know what he's going to do. Yeah, but I mean, he's trying something. We're going to see how how that works out. And then there was this little, I don't know, this little thing where a secret door opened. Show it to you. It was more of an ad sort of thing for one of their sponsors. I think it was like Expedia or something, where they opened a room and they sort of they do this thing where they just do ads and it's yeah, so it's just like a secret room in the house that they can access now, and it's just an excuse for them to run an ad. So there's that. Yeah, just not much gameplay going on there. Just because of the people on the block, most people couldn't really play any game because neither individual had something to offer anyone. Kyle has nothing to offer. Jess has nothing to offer. Sure, Jess does good in competitions, but Jess is not very good at building relationships. Kyle definitely not good at building relationships and could be good at competitions, but the one time he tried, he won, and then he let the power go to his head, let the paranoia get to his head, and he just started making random moves that made no sense. It's like he thought he had the power to evict like 5 people at once. And he was just taking shots at every single person that he wanted to evict at one time, instead of compartmentalizing the ones that he wants to go for now. And then the ones that he can target later, then he just leave that for later. But he just tried to play the whole game at one time. It's like he had a handful of cards and he was just like seeing which ones he can play, and he's just shuffling through them instead of just playing one card for now and seeing how the game developed. But it happens. Jess was very confident that no one was gonna that everyone was gonna vote for Kyle. So not much play on Jess's end. Ah, God, this part was very annoying. See, Summer, they're sitting around talking to Marty on the other end over here and Helena on the other end over there, talking about systematic racism. Explaining how she had to learn to love her skin and all this ridiculous stuff. This is the thing that pisses me off about people that do stuff like that. You cannot blame other people for your own internal issues. No one else can fix your problem but you. You can't expect everybody else to somehow walk around on eggshells because you have personal issues. If you feel something about your own skin and you feel like you don't fit in, that's not someone else's fault. It's not people's job to make you feel included. Either you adapt and you get included in the group by the fact that people like you and you endear yourself to them, or you do your own thing and you get around people that do accept you. The world doesn't work like that. You can't just control other people's behavior to make yourself feel comfortable. That makes you self-centered, makes you the center of everyone else's universe. And the world doesn't work that way. The world is about other people. You have to do certain things that you may not like for the benefit of other people so that they in turn can benefit your life. And this entire conversation about internal systematic racism, just enough. I can't with that nonsense. They had a whole segment where they're running around answering the phone. It felt a lot like a filler episode. They were just throwing a bunch of stuff at a wall to see what happened. God, there was a point where Kevin answered the phone and he ended up like taking a bath in a little tub full of spaghetti, and it was just absolutely disgusting. I'll show you a snapshot of that. As you can see, just why? I don't understand. And people thought it was funny. I think it was Jess thought it was the funniest thing in the world, and I was mind boggled by that. Just I could watch it for maybe 2 seconds and be like, I get it. A guy in a tub bathing in spaghetti. Say no more. Like, why would it be funny? Because people don't normally bathe in spaghetti? What? Jesus. Yeah. That happened. Kyle. There he is, just kind of pacing around, convincing himself. He pretty much, that's just his process of self-delusion, where he just sort of talks himself into something. And then funny enough, after he's doing that, he goes and tries to convince Herman of something. And Herman sort of just listened and just like, yeah, that makes sense. He just sort of gave him a bunch of non-answers, and he felt good. He felt like that conversation went well. It was just like, no, it didn't. It didn't at all. You know, someone takes on board what you're saying when they start engaging in the conversation and start adding to it, instead of just telling you, yeah, like they're giving you nothing. They're just telling you what they think you want to hear so that you go away. But you learn stuff like that when you actually know how to engage and speak to people. But hey, it is what it is. He paced around. He had a lot of mental breakdowns. Poor Kyle. And then it got to the voting, and it was the first unanimous vote. Everyone voted to get rid of Kyle. And at the end, he threw out a little lie where he said he won some power week one, a secret power week one, and now that he's been voted out, the power is up for grabs, and the secret code is 12. So throw that out there to make people paranoid, and I don't know how many people are going to buy it, but it was just a nonsense sort of thing. So I mean, that ended that week, and then we move on to the HOH competition. That's not going to happen until the next episode, but I'm glad this episode happened. There's sort of a lot of lessons to learn from this episode as far as real world social implications about how people talk to each other and things that people say and stuff like that. But as far as just a game of Big Brother, it was just a filler, nonsense, waste of time. But it's important to have these moments. The reason I got into Big Brother in the first place, when I first started watching the show, was for the competition. I'm a very competitive person. I like competition. I like weird little games where people have to play and win. And the social aspect sort of added another element to it, where you're able to use your wit to convince people to do things that may not be in their best interest. And then, I know, like all television nowadays, it just became sort of like a goddamn woke fest nonsense, where we got to empower women, we got to empower LGBT, we got to empower the different races, we got to empower everybody. And now the show is just filled of non-competitive people competing for something. You can tell when someone is non-competitive is when they start losing, they start saying things like, it's not fair, and this person doesn't deserve this, and that person doesn't deserve this. A true competitive person know that you don't say things like that. Either you win or you lose. You deserve it if you can win it, if you've earned it. Not because you feel like it should be yours and your story is more sad or whatever. People that rely on sympathy to get through life are leeches, in my opinion. And I don't like people like that. I don't like that sort of dynamic where you just you use some kind of sob story to get people on your side. It's frustrating. But anyways, that is that for episode 11. It's been fun. Till next time.